We will give our judges at least a 30 second
Just jumped around a little bit. You can't tell it, but I'm nervous as all get out. Um, I'm breathing very deeply because I've learned to take deep breaths, and sometimes that helps me a little bit. You might can see I'm breathing in pretty deep. Looking around, seeing some other competitors. What's up, dude? Um, kind of shaking off. Still listening. I've got my blue absorber. It's what I'm going to use to wipe down the outside of the car. That's what I'm going to do first. I've got my stopwatch. I bought that at Walmart for like $10. All the previous years, I've had some problems with time. I didn't know where we were with time, and I've paced myself. I know where I'm supposed to be at certain stages, and I don't sometimes know what the time is. And I wanted to have my own time this year. I was going to have the stopwatch close by, and I was going to check on it if I needed to know exactly where I was. And I was going to actually wait for them to say go, and then I was going to push the button right before that so that I knew I would be a little ahead of them, so I wouldn't cut it so close this year if I had to. I wanted the time to be in my favor. Um, I'm already kind of mentally prepared right now as far as get me a little drink of water. My mouth always gets dry in these competitions, and I guess because of the extra added stress. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Don't want to get too confident. Probably make a mistake here. Got my watch, just showing my friends on the sideline. Anyway, so I'm actually sizing the car up. I'm planning my strategy and trying to think about the proctor, and I definitely have to interact with the proctor at some point. And, I've already got all my tools out. I've put all the tools where I want them to be. I'm also got to be mindful of I've got to put the tools up and cover them up at the end of this thing before I hold my stop sign up, so that I won't lose points off that. You see, I've got the Lumar film. It's the Lumar ATR 20. A lot of people ask me, "Hey man, why didn't you use Flexfilm? You own the company. You ought to use your own film." That's a great question, but the answer to that question is I did not sponsor the competition, and just thought it would be tricky for me to sponsor the competition and compete and have a booth and help customers or people who were interested. So anyway, I had to use somebody who sponsored the competition, and Lumar was a pretty solid choice for me. I like dyed film, and it's great for a competition, and that's what I chose. Now my first step in this is just I'm going to wipe this car down. I got two reasons for that. I'm going to need the car to be clean when it's judged, and I'm going to use the car as my peel board. And I just don't want to have any contaminants from the road grime that's on the car. There's other competitors, and they're doing the same thing I'm doing. We all have 30 minutes. We all start off with a score of 215 points, and the name of the game is to keep the points. If you can get through this and keep your 215 points, you've probably guaranteed yourself in the finals. I am contestant number 20. There it is. My sign's on top of the car. Everybody who is in the competition has a number, and their number's on top of the car by their window. And the next heat will have their numbers because they'll change them out for the next heat. Anyway, I've noticed the car has felt on the sides, and I choose, especially in a competition, to tape the felt or mask it. Now, the car has already been sprayed pretty heavily with some slip solution of some kind. That's the way the judges want to make it fair, because the guys in heat 2 and 3 have to go behind us, and we've probably already wet the felt. And so it wouldn't be fair for us to have dry felt and them to have wet felt, because tape doesn't like to stick to wet felt. So that's what they've done to even it up. I just got some painter's tape, and as you can see, I'm kind of struggling a little bit. I'm like, uh-oh, this tape's not sticking to this felt very well. Now I could sit there and probably get my heat gun and dry it down and do all kinds of tricks, but I found that I've got just enough stick to make it work, and I'm going to go with it just for the sake of time. I've already used my absorber. I bought it at Walmart for like $10, and it's like a synthetic chamois, and I've wiped my outside of the car down. I've wiped down the top edge of the glass. Now I'm just going to roll the glass up, make sure my tape doesn't get caught up in it like it is, but it is. It's fighting me a little bit, but Okay, I'm fighting back. I'm winning. Okay, I've got it up. Got it up. Now, when I get it up, I'm gonna focus on. Let's see. I can't remember what I did. I think I'm gonna focus on either prep or nope. I'm not. I'm going to the outside. What I want to do is think about. Okay, I'm gonna craft this pattern. And so at this point, I've already wiped everything down. I probably want to wet the outside of the glass, and I want to go over here to the film, and I want to roll it out. Right now, I'm opening the box for the first time. Never seen this film. It was given to me, and now I'm going to inspect it, unpackage it, inspect it, and I'm going to roll me out enough feet to do that side window, and I'm going to measure it, and that's what's going on right now. I seem to be taking my time. I know I have 30 minutes, so there's no sense in trying to hurry. I just want to make sure that I focus more on quality and let time be the last factor. Even though time may be a deciding factor on whether I win or lose, it's not my priority, because if I don't get a high enough score, time doesn't matter. But if I get a high enough score, and there's several other people that have the same score as me, time does matter, because in the event of tie, it goes to time to see who wins. Whoever has the fastest time in a tie usually gets to decided victory. Um, I've measured the window. I'm pulling the film out. I'm really inspecting the film to see if there's any creases or any kind of contamination. And of course, my eyesight's not as good as it used to be, so I'm probably going to stick my nose up to the film and really look at it. I'm also thinking about, I wonder which side the release liner's on. If I know myself, I'm gonna bite it. There we go. I'm gonna make sure. Okay, boom. I know which side it is now. So now I'm happy with it. I'm gonna quickly wet the glass of my slip solution, which has uh, Tint-Tack in it. I chose Tint-Tack to use. That's the slip solution that we sell at Flexfilm, and we created it, and we know it works well. And so far, so good. I'm gonna go with it. So I'm just gonna put the film on the glass. I'm looking at this bottom edge because, it looks like the bottom edge was cut very well at the factory, and I'm going to go with it. I usually would sometimes cut my own edge, but in the competition, I'm going to go with the edge. I inspected it. I was happy with it, but I'm not just going to even it at the bottom. I'm actually going to, on this window, because I have to have that bottom edge underneath that inside rub rail, I'm going to go a little bit further down, like 1/4 of an inch. Now I'm going to take my smart card, and this is a card I only use on the exterior of the film to anchor the film down so it doesn't slide. It looks like I'm gonna just for insurance here, I'm gonna cut the excess film off. I don't want the film to flop down like a dog ear and cause me any creases or just be a nuisance in any kind of way. I'm just gonna, again, I know I have 30 minutes. I'm gonna take my time here, and I'm gonna trim it down a little bit, just to make it easier to work with. Okay, that's all I'm doing, just kind of shaping it up. Got it anchored down really well with my smart card. Now I'm probably going to look for my Sharpie, and I'm going to go ahead and trace the two sides with my Sharpie. I'm anchoring it down some more there, I see. The Sharpie is to give me an idea exactly where I need this window to be cut and not have any light gaps. As a matter of fact, not only do I want light gaps, but since this window is going to be judged, I want my window edges to be far enough inside that the judges can't even see my edges. That's very important to me. When I roll the window down, which I'm about to do now, I'm going to also make sure that the window doesn't shift, and I can tell by looking at these lines. I've used a silver Sharpie for the contrast because it looks really very easy to see on black. I'm going back and shaving it down even more, just to eliminate possibility of creases and just the film getting in my way. Okay, now I'm going to carefully lift the bottom up, and I'm also going to lift this corner up because I see the film bunching up a little bit in that corner, and I don't want it to cause a crease. But I'm going to just roll the window down enough because my next mission is to cut a straight edge along the top of this thing. I'm going to pull out a carbon blade, a black color blade that's 25% sharper. I would never ever cut on a car with this blade, but this is an awesome blade to make a clean cut. And I start in the corner, and I can't start on the very, very edge. So once I punch the blade through, I'm going to lock my elbow into my body and I'm going to go straight across with this sharp blade, getting this beautiful cut. And I'm going to go all the way to the left side to where it stops. And then I'm going to take that blade and I'm going to go back the opposite way and try to blend that cut in to the opposite way. See right there where I didn't quite get to the end? I'm going to quickly blend that cut in to where it's perfect. So it looks like I've got one smooth, perfectly clean cut, all the way from left to right or right to left. That's very important. And the way I've kept my blade even with the glass, there's no dip. So the judges are going to be looking for some consistency because I'm choosing to do a micro gap here. I'm not going to do any kind of crazy shaving or anything like that. Even though I can do that kind of stuff, it's not here for the competition. Um, Now I'm going to use this back window as my peel board. I'm going to put the film on there. Now, see, I use the absorber to clean the door off, so I'm not worried about a lot of dirt. I can see that line really good, and I'm going to just freehand about a quarter of an inch, I think, if I remember right, between an eighth and a quarter of an inch on the other side of this line, and just literally freehand that cut with a stainless steel blade. I'm not using my carbon blade for this. I want to beautifully round that little corner just to make it kind of blend in with the factory. You're not even going to be able to see that rounded edge just going back far enough to where it should be completely hidden by that seal. I'm going to round the bottom of it too a little bit so there's no peeling when you're rolling it up and down, because I know this window, after I'm done tinting it, the judge is going to be rolling it down pretty quick, so I know I've got to get it right. I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. I'm going to freehand that cut. I'm going to make sure I go above that line right there about a quarter of an inch, and I'm just really careful of making a good straight cut. I can almost do a cut that looks like I did it with a ruler if I'm having a good day. I'm going to extend that cut too. I'm going to go straight. I'm not going to round it. I'm just going straight. Those straight cuts look really good on this glass. Then I'm going to probably round that little corner off at the bottom there if I haven't done it yet. I'm still working on that. It looks like I'm working with my stainless steel blade. Don't use my carbon blade cutting on a car. Don't want to get disqualified or anything crazy like that for scratching glass. Boom. I think I'm done with that. Now I've completely crafted that pattern. I'm happy. That top edge, everything's going good for me. I remember everything at this point in the competition just really couldn't have gone any better for me. Now what I'm going to do is what I call the secret. This is what I believe separates the men from the boys right here. I'm not only going to shrink this window, but I'm going to double shrink it, also known as the double snap. I'm going to anchor the top, then I'm going to anchor the sides, and I'm going to actually see where I stand with the fingers. And if I remember correctly, there wasn't any fingers in this window. A lot of people would say, there's no fingers, I'm not even going to shrink it. Big mistake. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this film up, I'm going to make fingers in it. I'm actually forcing fingers in this sucker, or making it. See the fingers that just came up? I'm heating those. I'm making fingers so I can get the tension in this film that I need so that I don't have any moisture fingers. And I'm going to test it when I'm done. After I get these fingers like I want to in it and shrink them, and I see the tension that I'm looking for. Now, normally in a normal day, if it wasn't, for time here, I would shrink this window even more than I did in this competition. But, I didn't want to get too aggressive. I didn't want to make any mistakes, and I was just being a little more conservative than I normally am. But anyway, you see me shrinking every bit of this window, and I'm actually doing quite a bit of shrinking in this window. It's hard for you to see it because of my back, but again, I'm trying to keep my 215 points that they've given me. I've crafted this pattern, cleaned the outside of this car. I've used this back door as my cutting board so I didn't have to bring anything extra with me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to park this film on this side window, because I'm going to use it as my peeling board later on. I do know this film's rolled what I call backwards, so I want to be real careful that this film doesn't roll off the car when I'm not paying attention, because that's happened to me before. But since I got it flopped over the car like that, I think I've got it locked down. So I'm going to go back and clean the outside of this car just so I can keep the outside of the window sort of free and clear so I can see what's going on when I'm on the inside of this window trying to prep it. So let's put the crafting phase behind me. I don't know what the time is here, but I should be somewhere around 10 minutes, I'm guessing. That's usually where I'm at, 8 to 12 minutes at this phase of the game. I've got this pre-tack formula that we've created. So we've got a two-part mounting system. We've got a cleaning system, and we've got a slip solution. We don't really believe in cleaning with our slip solution. It's really usually too diluted to do the job we need. We got this pre-tack, which has got a lot of isopropyl alcohol in it. We put a little dye in it so you can tell what's in the bottle, not to try to cause any problems. But it's got a little pink color, and we've got some degreasers in it. And we also got what we needed. It's just a good glass cleaner, so we can actually put it on there and scrape it with a razor blade. And then, since we got a lot of the cleaning residue still on there, we can wipe it down really good with a microfiber. Got that one at Home Depot. It's a thinner one, and I'm not really worried about if I got a little piece of lint on it or not. I'm just trying to get the surface contaminants really removed from this glass, inside and out, mainly inside. So now I'm going to take this hard card, and I'm going to use it to stuff it down in these cracks, get it clean. Same thing over here, but I can't get the very bottom. Oh, that's my Platinum Easy Reach. You can also use a Platinum Easy Reach as a squeegee. When you're doing a final prep on squeegeeing out those cracks, it's real thin. It's real good for that. The card can kind of scratch the tint, so I generally don't use it as any kind of finishing tool. It's a great prep tool, and I'm using it to get that towel down in there where any contaminants could be, or any surface contaminants or grease or lint or whatever. But so I'm happy. I've got this glass really clean. I've scraped it. I've degreased it. I've got the alcohol thing going on. So now I'm going to use my slip solution, which is my tint tack. Smells good. I'm going to get my new yellow turbo squeegee out. Fresh cut. I know this is a perfectly cut squeegee because I've cut it myself and I've never really used it. Just tested it one time. So I'm going to get a real clean swipe here. Boom. Now I'm not going to touch the top of that with that squeegee because that's going to bring lint down onto my my job. Where the top of the lint is on the release liner. I'm sorry, the felt at the top. I don't like to touch it with my wrist or my fingers, and I was being very careful there. So I'm just going to get a thorough squeegee, and I'm wiping it. Every time I squeegee, I wipe it with my. I don't use a microfiber. See that cloth I'm using? That right there is a lint-free paper towel, and I'm going to clean that top edge with it, and I'm going to use that Platinum as a squeegee. And then, once I got it dried off around the edges and I've got the top edge dried, I didn't bump the top felt. I'm wiping the bottom of the dash. I'm sorry, the door panel. Man, I'm like really happy with the cleanliness of this window, and I'm ready for installation. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to thoroughly wet it with my slip solution, but I didn't flush out the cracks, if you've noticed. I didn't put an excessive amount of water on there. I only put what I needed. Got me a sip of water there myself because I know I'm about to probably bite this film, and I don't want to have a dry mouth when I'm trying to bite the film. That's going to leave a little spot on the film that may cost points. So that's one thing I did this year is I made sure to hydrate myself during the competition. Made a huge difference. Made me feel better, made me work better, made me not as nervous. Now I'm using the car as a pill board. I've already cleaned it, so I don't have any real contamination on it. For whatever reason, I decided to give it a little bit more of a hit there, but I didn't flush out any cracks. If I flush out cracks with that slip solution, I always find trash in there that shouldn't be there. But once it's clean, I don't have to clean it twice or flush it out. I'm happy with it. Now I'm gonna put the film on. I do barely pinch it with my fingernail, and I wet my hand before I did it, and I've just been lucky not to have problems with this method. I don't have very much luck with the other method. I can't flop the tint on without touching it, but that's just my method. Now this film is going on really, really nice. I'm lining up that beautiful top edge with the factory edge, and I'll admit this step doesn't always go great for me. I find the strangest little dips and some of the funniest little cuts that I've made here, but I'm not having that problem today. I'm like, thank you. I can't believe how perfect this is going for me. I mean, at this point, I'm like, if you knew what was in my head, I'm looking at this going, man, I think this is going to look like it's shaved. I can't believe it. This is just not supposed to happen in a competition, but hey, sometimes it can happen, and it did for me. So I'm gonna ease this film down on the top edge, and we'll lock it down, but this is not my final pass. This is just my yellow turbo, preliminary squeegee here. I'm trying to just lay this film down. I'm trying to further prepare this film for a final squeegee. with a sometimes I use a Go Doctor, sometimes I use a Blue Max. I like them equally. I lubricated it again just a little bit. Pulled out a Blue Max. Okay, I'm putting a lot of pressure. It's hard to tell. You see that I'm getting more water out, and but getting this final pass is usually how I'm able to lock down this tint with the type of adhesive that's on this film. Because it's dyed film, it's got some really thin, aggressive adhesive, and with our mixture of tint tack, I know what my boundaries are. I know how this works. I can lock this film down to where it literally just won't move. And I'm watching that top edge and making sure it doesn't move or bump or anything. Then I'm gonna take these little hard cards. Now this one right here is a tri-edge. I like the yellow one. It's got a plastics technology that really works with this window film. You can be really aggressive with this card, and you're just not going to scratch quality films with it. You can get away with murder. And I promise you, I'm using it as a hard tool in these cracks, and it is doing the job. And I sometimes use a blue one, and they make an orange one. And the orange one's a little bit too hard for me, and sometimes I scratch with it a little bit. But hey, I guess that's why they make three different degrees of hardnesses on those technologies, because of different styles and techniques. I'm starting to think about rolling this window up. I was actually rolling it up, but I was noticing that on the corners where it was bunching up a little bit, that's where the danger is of creases. So I actually kind of pulled it out a little bit to help it relax, and was able to completely avoid any stress or creases in this window, which was usually what will happen if I get in a hurry and not take into account to do that. And it sometimes even you can get zipper creases, where it's bending up. So I'm holding it. I normally stuff it up underneath up underneath the where the glass wedges in the felt, and I can get it to hold itself. But I'm having to hold it myself because I'm really being careful that they're not being zipper creases. And so I'm re-squeegeeing the bottom where it came up out of the door. Now I'm re-wetting it, and then I'm usually sometimes going to try to re-wet the bottom of the film, because I want a wet film to go up against a wet glass, so that there's no dry pockets or any little point of where it's wanting to fight me. And now the game is just to ease the film underneath the seal. Okay, remember I double shrunk this thing, so I know that I can get this film to flow with the curve of this glass, and in such a way where I'm not going to have any fingers. So I'm trying to get this in without causing any creases. I'm going to completely get it relaxed behind the seal. I'm using my Platinum Easy Reach, and I'm just slowly feeding it in. I'm starting from the middle, and then I'm working my corners, and I'm just easing it in. I'm not forcing anything by the slip solution, and how I've shrunk this thing. I've got it to where it should just fall in. I've just got to chase these larger air pockets out for right now. Make sure there's no backwash of any bad solution back under my film that might bring contaminants. And boom, I did it. I'm gonna do the other side. Again, I'm gonna be really careful. I'm just gonna create a space. I'm gonna slide the film back into the depths of the cracks here, so I can hide any edges of film. See, now I got everything down. I own this film now. I'm gonna I just put some more slip solution on it. I'm gonna start easing the film down from the middle out, kind of in like a smiley face. At the bottom, you're gonna see the corners are high. Then I'm gonna just sort of go with the flow from the middle to the end. I'm gonna start back in the middle and go to the end. I got to get it a little bit more before I start that at the top. Yeah. Now I'm gonna probably hit. Got the hard card in there. Yep. That's a squeegee. Excuse me. Got the hard card in my mouth. Now I'm seeing it's bunching a little bit. So I'm gonna take my hard card, create a little more space. Boom. I got it. Now I just need to make sure I get a really good squeegee on this window. I'm probably gonna even hit the corners and the cracks and all the hard to reach places with a squeegee. I'm probably gonna lubricate this window again with my slip solution, just a little bit. Pull out my Blue Max and do the final pass. When these judges see this window, I want this window to be boom. I want it to be perfect. I don't want any water pockets. I don't want any. I don't want anything. I want to get a really good squeegee on this window. And so far, I'm just having a good day. Things are going well. Now that I got everything down, I've got my hard tool going on. I'm thinking now about, okay, I want to roll this window down. I want to check out this top edge. I want to get my heat gun out. I want to heat these corners, generally where you see creases. As a matter of fact, I see a little finger right there where the film might have been lifted up. I don't think it's a crease. Just happened to be a random little finger there. That's okay. Those are kind of common. I probably could have eliminated that if I was shrunk a little bit more. But again, I was not worried about it because I had 30 minutes to do the window, and I'd rather, take my time. See, I got plenty of time, and so I'm already thinking about putting things away, concealing the film that I used. I'm just getting ready to kind of go back to the window, do some final, last minute, customer ready stuff. I'm already aware that I've got to do some detailing on this window just to get little places to lay down smoothly. Um, and I'm looking at I'm just doing an overall. I mean, is there any creases, any pieces of trash, anything? Um, I'm in total inspection mode, and right now, I'll be honest with you, I'm feeling good, man. I'm not seeing anything. I can't tell if my eyesight's starting to go on me. I'll be 46 next month, so I'm thinking, maybe I need some glasses. Maybe my window's bad and I just can't see it anymore. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's fooling me. I'm thinking everything's good. So there's my well-built heat gun. They don't make those anymore. It's on its last leg, but that one right there puts out a lot of heat with good wind speed. And I'm actually heating the outside of the window in those what I call trouble areas. Anytime you're doing a two-stage installation, you're always going to have these little trouble areas on the edges that you need to take into consideration. I better push those one more time just to make sure. And if you do it right and you don't crease or damage the film, with a little bit of heat and a right hard card that doesn't scratch, you can completely lay that film down and make it completely 100% invisible, like there was never even a problem there. And that's what I like about this film. That's what I like about this heat gun and this card that I'm using. Everything's working for me right now. And I'm gonna also go to the other side, do the same thing. I'm telling you, I can't see anything, but this is what I feel like is just a good insurance maneuver because I can heat this, push on it. If there's something there that I can't see and a judge could see, well, by doing this, I know I've just eliminated the possibility of there being anything that could cause me to lose a point. So here it is. The competition's winding down. I've got the film on. I'm feeling good. Started off with 215 points. I'm inspecting, the top edge. I'm taking tape off. I'm gonna probably inspect that edge and clean that edge outside, inside, so that when that window is judged, it's gonna be clean and streak free, and hopefully no trash. And the gap at the top is gonna be. Look at that. You see me up against that gap. There is just no gap. I mean, if I didn't know any better, and I was looking at this window, and you said, "Do you think this window was shaved or micro gapped?" I'll be honest with you, I couldn't tell you. It really turned out good. It was just my day, and I cleaned it inside and out. I'm probably looking at the whole outside picture here now, making sure that this is the final clean for the judges. Let's take care of any mirrors, any little drips on the car. Let's go ahead and wipe down the other door. I use it as a billboard, so might as well get it looking a little freshened up too. I'm just making sure I'm not getting any streaks, and within reason, considering I just I'm running out of time. I believe that's about all I can do. Now I'm going to go over here to the proctor. I'm going to tell her not to roll the windows down and give her basic instructions that I'm supposed to keep all my points. I believe there's like five points in this category. Probably what I did here kept the 5 points. I didn't lose anything. Didn't make a big deal out of it. Starting to feel the pressure of trying to finish. And, don't forget the roll down sticker. But guess what? I got the roll down sticker and it just stuck to itself. I'm getting frustrated. I'm just going to say screw it. I'm going to stick the big ball of tape on there, and I don't know what to do. I'm thinking. You know what? I remembered something. I got that yellow, that red tape. I got the red tape, for the painter's tape that I had, and I'm thinking, you know what? That's so easy for me to get off, but I could use that. But then again, I thought, you know what? I remembered I've got the whole roll of roll-out stickers. Well, let me get that. So then I'm gonna Oh, I'm getting ready now. I'm not ready to cover it up yet, but I'm going to be ready to cover it up in a matter of seconds if I need to. Probably even checking my stopwatch right now. You can't see me. Yep, there it is. How much time do I got? Okay, there's the tape. That's the roll down stickers. Okay, okay. Where's the edge? Where's the dadgum edge? I can't figure out how to get this stuff. You know what? I'm about to say just screw this because I this is okay. Yep, I just feel like throwing it at somebody. Now, I just remembered I got that red tape. I want to use it. Heck, it's just a stupid roll down sticker. I don't even use them anyway. So let me just grab a piece. Let me get that ball of trash roll down sticker that's not working out. Let me replace it, throw it away. Then take a last minute look at the car. I think I'm happy with the car at this point. I didn't see anything, couldn't do anything better. I'm going to leave it where it's at. I'm actually making sure everything's covered, making sure the judges can't see anything in this table. Haven't left anything. Boom, I'm done. I don't know, it's probably about 3 or 4 minutes left. I'm feeling good. I was told I had to go over here and stand by the proctor until everybody else is finished, and then once everybody else is finished and the competition's over, then it's time to leave. Anyway, I appreciate you watching this video. If anybody wants to know more about how these competitions work, this is the way this one's working. That was a side window from start to finish. And, I actually did very well in this competition. Out of the 215 points, I found out I scored a 213. I think a 215 they say is a perfect window, so I couldn't be more happy with the results of this side window part of the competition. And it took me on to the finals. And so I wanted to show you guys what I did and how I was able to get the 213 and the steps I took and what it's like. So if you're thinking about entering this competition, this will be a great opportunity, for you to do that and not be so surprised or not know what to expect. And so that's why you got to see this whole video unedited, start to finish. And so I hope that you can take anything from this video and maybe it gives you the confidence or whatever whatever you need to sign up for this competition and have fun. But thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it.